Tonight we take you to a dangerous maritime standoff at Ayungin Shoal in the South China Sea. The Philippines claims this submerged reef, but China asserts control over nearly the entire sea. 24 Chinese vessels have swarmed the area, creating a blockade around a Filipino outpost. Filipino Marines live on the BRP Sierra Madre, a symbol of Philippine sovereignty. Chinese ships circle like sharks, intimidating the outpost. This is a daily test of will for the Marines. A handful of Filipino soldiers on a decaying vessel face a modern Chinese fleet. Imagine waking up to foreign ships blocking your horizon. At night, Chinese ships use searchlights, conducting aggressive maneuvers. The Marines are isolated, but their presence is a defiant stand. Yet every day the Filipino flag is raised in defiance. The blockade tests the will of a nation. The Marines' courage is a testament to resilience. For now, the lonely sentinels of the Sierra Madre stand firm. The BRP Sierra Madre is a rusting hulk, deliberately grounded in 1999 to serve as a military garrison. Filipino Marines stationed here endure isolation and harsh conditions. Cramped quarters, exposure to the elements, and the constant presence of Chinese ships define daily life. Over 100 miles from the nearest major Philippine island, their only link to the outside world is a fragile radio and perilous resupply missions. The Chinese blockade has turned routine deliveries into high-stakes confrontations. The Marines watch these dramas unfold, knowing their survival depends on each mission's success. Under 24/7 surveillance with drones overhead and horns shattering the quiet, they face a war of nerves. This is not combat, but a battle of endurance and mental fortitude. Maintaining discipline and morale is a daily challenge. Despite the hardships, duty and national pride run deep. The Marines raise the Philippine flag every morning, a symbol of defiance. They are fishermen, sons and fathers asked to hold the line. Their story is one of quiet heroism. The psychological toll is immense, but their resolve is unwavering. Each day they embody their country's claim to the shoal. Their presence is a living assertion of sovereignty. The world may not see their struggle, but it is real and ongoing. The Marines' courage is a beacon for their nation. Their lonely watch continues against overwhelming odds. Every resupply mission to the BRP Sierra Madre is a journey into danger. Small, civilian supply boats carry food and water, braving a blockade controlled by Chinese vessels. The crews, though not soldiers, display remarkable bravery. As they approach Ayungin Shoal, Chinese Coast Guard and militia boats move to intercept. Aggressive tactics, tight cordons, high-speed maneuvers, and water cannons turn each mission into a high-stakes game. Filipino crews must find gaps in the blockade, risking collision and injury. The Chinese use water cannons and acoustic devices, jamming communications and ramping up psychological pressure. The goal forced the supply boats to turn back. Each successful delivery is a victory, a symbol of unbroken Filipino resolve. These missions are celebrated at home, their bravery broadcast to the world. Every barrel of water and sack of rice is more than sustenance, it's a message of defiance. The Philippines will not be intimidated or surrender its rights. The resupply missions have become a powerful symbol of national pride. The world watches as ordinary citizens stand up to a superpower. Each mission is a test of will, not just for the Marines but for the nation. The struggle for Ayungin Shoal is fought boat by boat. The message is clear: the Philippines will not back down. China's actions at Ayungin Shoal are a classic gray zone strategy. Conflict below the threshold of war. Instead of open attacks, China uses coercion and intimidation to achieve its goals. The strategy makes the Philippine position untenable without firing a shot. China deploys a three-tiered force Navy warships, armed Coast Guard vessels, and maritime militia disguised as fishing boats. The Navy lingers on the horizon, a silent threat. The Coast Guard enforces blockades and uses water cannons. The militia swarms contested areas, blocking passages and gathering intelligence. Their civilian status creates ambiguity, making it hard for others to respond. This plausible deniability is central to the gray zone playbook. The goal is attrition: starve out the Marines, force the Philippines to abandon the outpost. If the Marines leave, China can take control without open conflict. It's a patient, persistent effort to erode Philippine sovereignty. The strategy challenges not just the Philippines, but the rules-based international order. It's a long game, changing facts on the water, one blockade at a time. Encounters at sea are escalating. What began as shadowing has become direct confrontation. The China Coast Guard now routinely uses high-pressure water cannons against Filipino supply boats, risking serious injury and damage. Collisions are a growing threat, with Chinese vessels making aggressive maneuvers, sometimes ramming smaller Filipino boats. Even a minor collision could spark a major international incident. Harassment extends to the air, with Chinese jets flying dangerously close to Philippine aircraft. There are reports of Chinese vessels using military-grade lasers, causing injuries to Philippine crews. These are not peaceful actions. They are acts of aggression designed to intimidate. Each incident raises the stakes, increasing the risk of deadly accidents. If a Filipino is killed, political pressure to respond would be immense, possibly triggering the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty. China pushes the limits, testing Philippine and American resolve while maintaining deniability. It's a dangerous game, with the potential for rapid escalation. The risk of miscalculation is ever present. The world watches, hoping restraint prevails. At the core is a clash between international law and raw power. The Philippines bases its claim on the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, ratified by over 160 countries, including China. Ayungin Shoal lies within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled in favor of the Philippines, invalidating China's sweeping claims. The ruling is legally binding, but China rejects it, enforcing its claims through force. This is a direct challenge to the rules-based order. China seeks to replace the law of the sea with the law of force. The standoff is more than a territorial dispute, it's a test of global governance. The outcome will shape the future of international law and order. The Philippines is not alone. Its alliance with the United States is crucial. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty commits both nations to aid each other in case of attack. Washington has clarified attacks on Philippine forces in the South China Sea will trigger U.S. commitments. The U.S. Navy conducts regular freedom of navigation operations, challenging China's claims. Joint military exercises with the Philippines have increased, signaling solidarity. Other nations, Australia, Japan, the UK, France, Canada, have stepped up engagement supporting the 2016 ruling and calling for peaceful resolution. Many have sent naval vessels for joint patrols and exercises. This coalition creates a united front against coercion. International support gives Manila leverage and deters aggression. China's attempts to isolate the Philippines are failing. Instead, Manila is drawing closer to its allies. The conflict is now central to regional stability and the future of the international order. The stakes are rising for all involved. The world is watching and the pressure is mounting. Beyond geopolitics, the conflict has real human and environmental costs. Filipino fishermen are driven from traditional fishing grounds by Chinese harassment. Livelihoods are lost, coastal communities suffer, and food security is threatened. The economic impact is severe. Smaller catches, higher costs, and families forced to give up fishing. The environmental damage is alarming. China's island building has destroyed vast coral reefs, critical for marine life. Destructive fishing practices further deplete stocks and damage ecosystems. The loss is not just ecological, it's a blow to a shared natural heritage. The coral reef's destruction has irreversible consequences for the region and the planet. The conflict is also about preserving the marine environment. Aggressive tactics and environmental destruction go hand in hand. The stakes are not just territorial, but existential for people and nature. Facing overwhelming force, the Philippines has adopted a strategy of transparency. Manila now documents and publicizes China's aggressive actions, embedding journalists on patrols and resupply missions. High-definition footage of water cannons and dangerous maneuvers is released worldwide. These images go viral, exposing China's tactics and building international support. Information becomes a tool of statecraft, making legal arguments tangible. The strategy has galvanized support from allies and made it harder for the world to look away. But the question remains, will transparency and global support be enough? China shows no sign of backing down, continuing to build its presence. The standoff is a test of endurance, law and truth versus steel and ambition. The outcome will shape the future of the South China Sea. The struggle is ongoing with the peace and stability of the region at stake. The world waits to see which vision will prevail.